Eric, I'm sorry. But our next storyteller is just a fabulous young man. He is talented, musically, intellectually, and let me tell you folks that it's easy, and maybe you've experienced this or maybe you haven't, but I certainly have, that it's easy to give millennials a bad rap. But this young man defies the stereotypes and shows how unfair they can truly be and how damaging they can truly be. And so would you please help me in welcoming Eric to the microphone. Come on up, Eric.
How's it going there, guys?
Okay.
Hey.
First off, I love doing these events. This is my first time back in a while. And today, you know, the theme is love. So let's talk about love. Well, you know, there's many different forms of love. You know, there's the way that a parent loves a child. There's the way that a friend loves a friend. There is the way that, you know, two significant others love each other. And then maybe there's the way that people can love objects. This is going to be in a completely different direction. The story I'm going to tell you guys tonight is about my first car. And bear with me, it's not so much the car itself, it's more so what the car did for me in my life. You know, I grew up in the suburbs, just going to school, coming home every day, and I would ride my bike playing outside with the other kids, and that was lots of fun. But when I got to be around 15, 16, some of the kids were getting cars, some of my older friends already had cars, and they would get in their cars and just go. I don't know where they were going, but they would just go, and they had the, you know, grandest time ever, because they'd always come back with a giant smile on their face, or, you know, just good stories of great experiences. And I wanted to, you know, participate in that, because there was a good chance that maybe for my senior year of high school, I wasn't going to be able to get a car senior year, and that would be an entirely different senior year than if I did have my own car. Luckily, I had saved up around $2,500, which wasn't quite enough to get a car. I needed around $4,000. For my birthday present, my dad gave me the other half to buy a $4,000 car. And, you know, it wasn't the best car in the world, but I didn't care. My mom told me, Eric, you should just wait. Save your $4,000, save more, and you can get an actual car that might last you for a while. But I was like, you know what, I don't care what car it is. I want to be able to just live and experience things. So she's like, okay. So we went to a secondhand car dealership, and I got this old Mazda. It was a Mazda Protege. It's the tiniest little Japanese car that you'll ever see, but it was perfect. You know, it's all I wanted. It was good on gas, and it was the right size and everything. So we get the car, and instantly, my life was actually pretty much the same, because I wasn't going to drive anywhere. I would go to school, my mom would say, Eric, when you get out of school, I want you to drive straight home and then just ride your bike to hang out. I'm like, oh, okay. So eventually, my parents got a little bit more lenient. They started letting me drive to hang out with my friends. And, you know, there's something I've always wanted to do. I had always wanted to do musical theater. Never could, because my mom's work schedule and my dad's work schedule didn't allow them to be able to pick me up every single day. So if there was ever a day where I didn't have a ride home, I would kind of just be out of luck. So up until that year, I had never been able to participate in musical theater. But that year I did, because I could drive myself to school and then home from rehearsals. And through doing musical theater, I met my, you know, now childhood friends that I still talk to today. I'm currently a senior in college, and I still have these same friends from musical theater. And I think to myself, you know, I love this car so much, but then again, it's not about the car. It's about what it did for me, because if I had never gotten that car, I would not know the people that I know right now. My life would be entirely different. All of the adventures that we went on, you know, just driving to, you know, Joliet and this place and this place. Like the neighboring towns I didn't know existed, because I never really went anywhere unless I was with my parents. We just had all these cool experiences, and I had my first girlfriend senior year of high school. That would have never happened, because how can you say, hey, I'll take you on a date sometime, maybe you know, our parents can drive us? That doesn't sound cool. You know? So I attribute a lot of things that happened in my life back then that make me who I am today to getting that car when I did. And you know, I got really sentimental with it, because you know, throughout my first half of college, I had the same car, and at that point, it was breaking down all the time. And my dad told me, Eric, you know, you've been saving up quite a bit. You should probably get a new car. I can co-sign for you, and it'll be much more reliable. And I said no, like 3 or 4 different times, and kept that car as long as I could because it just meant so much. Every single time I looked at it, I mean, everyone else saw a black car with rust and duct tape on it, and the AC didn't work and this and that. I saw a chariot of magical things that just, like, you know, so many memories were in that car. And it was just, it was the day, when the day came that I had to get rid of the car, it was very hard for me. Like, everyone was like, Eric, you're getting a new car, isn't that great? I'm like, yeah, but I don't want to get rid of the Mazda. I wish I could keep it, but, you know, I had to let it go. And it was definitely like, it was a very surreal day. You know, now at this point, I can say that my car I have now, I also have new memories, life experiences in that car. I drove all the way to Texas and back in it, so it's kind of cool. But I still, every single time I see a Mazda Protege, I get this little tear in my eye. I wonder where my car is and what it's doing now. It's probably been scrapped, you know. There's no way they resold it. And yeah, so that's my story, guys. The love of the first car, you know. And again, it's not about the object, it's not about the car itself, but it's about how it changed my life. Okay, that's all I have, guys.
Oh, we should just have an open mic night about our first cars. Mine was a 1978 Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme with red fabric that was falling in my eyes, that my dad had to like staple gun up so that I could actually see when I drove. And I totaled it 6 months after getting my license. That's real life. I've become a much better driver since I married my dad. But thinking about Eric, you're right, Eric, it's not about the object, it's about what it represents, right? So if we think about love, you know, love is a big word. Like, that can encapsulate a lot of different things, and it can mean a lot of different things to different folks in different circumstances, as Eric said. But what does love give us? Security? Freedom? Safety? Trust? Kind of all those things that Ginny already laid out for us so eloquently on her list. And so, did I hear sharing? Sharing. Thank you, Wayne. Sharing is lovely, absolutely. So, when we think about this concept of love, that's a really big concept. A lot gets wrapped up into it. And so, let's remember that it takes a lot to love. Love is kind of an amalgamation of many, many things. So let's not reduce it. Let's not forget that.